now people can really see that you're not cheating with the Apelles palette.
Oh no, it's just there. It's always like, but sometimes people ask like, how is that really the Apelles palette? Is it really? Like, because it, as you know, it offers so much, a big spectrum of possibilities there.
Oh, yeah.
You can go from a very kind of dramatic baroque effect, and then you can go and make a Monet or any kind of this impressionist feel quite dull.
Yeah.
If you really go into the spring kind of fresh effect.
Yeah, you can see some of these impressionist paintings that are full of color and they lack life.
Very much.
But it's so strange. I mean, if you take away that yellow and use a normal yellow ochre, it's gray and dead. If you use a bit too yellow red color, it falls too much over to one side.
Yes.
I mean, these colors are very stand on their own feet, so to speak.
Yeah, it's that green there. It's that green. I'm thinking forward. Like not very linear, but okay. But that yellow, that ochre, it offers.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
Explosion.
It's oof. This is my third landscape here.
No, calm it down. It's too strong.
No.
Now you're working only with turpentine, right?
Yeah, it's just turpentine at first. It's just to get the general.
It's like watercolor.
General shape of it, and it's sometimes it gets some draping there or things that you might use later, but.
Yeah, I've often been thinking about that. It's, you know, that cliche about thicker in the lights, thinner in the shadows and so. And then you see Munch in the soft portrait with a cigarette. It's thin as you don't believe it's that thin.
Yeah.
And it works fantastic. It's watercolor with oil paint.
It is.
I
So
mean, it would be. I wonder how it would be to paint a whole, like, finished painting, not just a study, but a finished painting, and just work with that way of thinking. Really, really thin.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I also get sometimes a bit stuck on certain way of using it, and always put the same amount of thick layers on the same areas on the same part of the body and so on. But if one dares to kind of break a bit that and try to solve those things in a different manner, it can go quite well.
Yeah, because it's about the end result, the visual impression.
Yeah, it is. So
now you're working only with the sort of greenish tones, because you have. I mean, there's a bit of this. You think about that, right? That you have some of these tones here in the grass that you can exploit.
Yeah.
You can exploit the ground of the canvas, right?
I can always use it, so it's good to consider the soil.
It's the lazy boy technique, you know. Paint as little as possible.
But some wonderful things come out from laziness, you know. Some
efficiency.
Yes. And someone said that they say, "Oh no, that's lazy," but that's it's the dumb one punishing the clever one that managed to do it with a less amount of resources in a more efficient way.
That's virtue.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to be my case now, but
no, but I mean, to have that idea in your head that you don't have to sculpt everything. You know.
No. Yes, we'll see here.
Do you have any specific plans with this, or is it just a study to suddenly pick up when you need it in your studio, or
If I have any plan for this?
for this motif, like to use it for something specific, or
No, but they can always serve a bigger motif later. It's like kind of connecting some small pieces here and there, and suddenly you get several of them, and then you say, okay, this could work for a bigger thing or for a bigger motif, a bigger composition. But it's nice to just collect some pieces here and there. Let's see.
you're really working with almost no color.
No.
Eh.
Not at all.
Oh my God! Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like too blue. No,
Oh
stop.
no, it's blue.
Please take the blue color away. That's pure magic right there. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh my God, it's too blue. That's white and black, and it's too blue.
it's too blue.
Sorry, Sebastian. I thought you were a better painter than this.
Yeah, I know. I also thought about the same, but mostly when I get into the canvas, I realize that.
Oh my
Nice.
God. And you think what would have happened if you jumped in with some you know, I forget names of blue colors because I don't use them anymore.
Yeah, then we can use a bit more.
Wow. That's a totally shocking effect.
Yeah.
I mean, if it weren't for that ground, the color of the ground, you wouldn't get that
No,
effect.
it's it's so nice to. Then if you combine some of this stuff with some transparent layers here and there, and I think that's just wonderful. Okay. Okay.
And that's one thing that is really helpful with making sketches. Is that you really learn to try to look for focus and try to look for the most important things.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why that has become an art cliche, you know, about the freshness of the sketch and so. But of course it has freshness because it's easier to cover more ground with one stroke, and it's easier then to get a unified image and so. And of course,
Yeah.
problem is just that it's difficult to capture that on a large format. Right?
Yeah, and it's good to just use a bigger brush there, and sounds logical, right? But you get when it comes to the big thing, one gets a bit stiff and too careful there, and it's a complete change of attitude.
Yeah, what is that?
It's.
I mean, one thing is the practical side of it. I mean, you cannot necessarily use a brush that is comparably as much bigger to the canvas as that brush is to this size, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the brush you will use will be smaller compared to the canvas.
Yeah.
But, there's still some
change
of attitude.
Yeah, there's a change of attitude. I think that's mostly what happens there.
Yeah.
And it's something that sometimes it just doesn't go that quick, you know, but to be able, I think, to be patient and to let that kind of loose, keep that looseness. Well, that's something that difficult to get on the beginning.
Yeah.
To keep that looseness, to go all the way around, like making it hard and under control before you can jump into a more loose way of painting. Now this is some. Yeah.
You told me once about painting sketches outside,
Yeah.
and then going in and continue painting on them.
Yes.
Sort of manipulating them.
Yeah. Well, then you have to. I think it's good then to bring some things in and move some stuff and emphasize more on certain areas which, while you are looking at it, doesn't give it to you.
Yeah.
So in order to make that I think it's good to take the sketch back to the studio and work it there from fantasy and having some references. I think that
After you've captured as much as you can,
Yeah.
sort of empirically, or
yeah. You need that ground always.
it's also that thing of, well, to a certain extent, sometimes you have to manipulate when you're standing there. I mean, I remember sometimes this specific motif,
Yeah.
the horizon there can be so hard, and so it has nothing to do. The sky has nothing to do with the sea. It's so strange, but then you have to manipulate it as you're standing there.
Yeah. Well, I'm not experienced at all when it comes to landscape. I've just been looking at some things and then.
Yeah, because I don't think of sort of plein air painting when I think of you.
No. Me neither. I don't see myself too much going around outside and have some.
Is this something you've been thinking about more lately, or
What?
have you been thinking about it more lately?
What?
To go more out and
Well, I have been getting some walks.
Yeah.
Outside. And then I've start looking more to the landscape and collecting some ideas or some shapes there. So it's good to get in kind of family with that.
yeah. Yeah, because I think, I mean, you're really clever at also, I mean, which is the Renaissance way of thinking too, that you base yourself on classical models. I mean, you have the Belvedere torso being used by Michelangelo in all kinds of variations, right? But still, to sometimes go out and not necessarily be a naturalist, but be empirical and
Oh yeah.
And then you can change that and glaze it and work with that when you use that sketch in your
Yes.
in a composition inside. Right?
Yeah. So it's
Because it's all this thing about manipulation. We're talking about it quite a lot. This naturalist attitude, which has a function. but if it
Mhm.
becomes dominant, then it doesn't work, right? You have to. Everything is manipulated or composed somehow if it should have some importance.
Yeah, well, I think that that's a thing to have an empirical study of nature, and then be able to integrate that and shift and bend things a bit in order to make it work in this totality, which that's the space to compose. Huh? So it goes down there. Well, I have this automatic thing that I have the palette there, so I'm.
Yeah. Well, this is really shall I say, economic way of painting, both in terms of how many colors and having the palette on the canvas, so you don't have to have a full set of perfect equipment before you can paint
No,
outside.
you don't need the perfect set of brushes or equipment.
You know that grey color that Odd mixes.
Which one? If you can
well, it's one of. I guess it's mixed more colors now, but when I started this, he used more colors besides the Polish palette, but still related. And there was a special grey color that he would have mixed, and I mixed it for him, and I got one tube.
Yeah.
And the first time I got it, I thought that now I have the key.
Now I have this.
The magic color.
The magic formula to turn everything into gold.
Yes, and I don't have to tell you what happened.
Goes the opposite
it wasn't
way.
an unconditional success, so we could leave it there.
Goes the opposite way.
Oh, I have to get that brush that Sebastian is painting with. Then I will. How much does it cost? When did you buy it?
Good. So this is.
Yep.
It goes so slow. More and more I realized I had to just take my time and.
Yeah, so what are you
What?
thinking now? What are you looking for? Is there any specific priority that you have now?
That's a problem.
You don't?
This lack of priorities sometimes. I have to kind of get the whole picture of it sometimes, and then.
Well, would you say that a sketch is a good indication of how you start a painting, no matter what it is?
Yeah, it's. I have to get the whole picture here, and it has to go down here. Yeah, well, but that's how it is normally in much of the time that I work. Is sometimes to be all over the place, and things start getting some kind of order as I push. But it's kind of picking, and sometimes I have to just force myself to focus on one area. But it's this bringing all these pieces all together at once. I don't know. That's how it goes. But sometimes that can become very distracting.
But isn't that the professional way of working? To keep the oversight and not getting lost in detail?
No, not so much. I think then that's kind of the way it works for me, like collecting collecting small fragments
Mm.
here and there, and then it starts becoming a totality eventually, but takes time.
Thank you for checking out this video from the School of Apelles. To watch the full video and access our premium library, go to caveofapelles.com/subscribe and become a $10 patron. That's caveofapelles.com/subscribe.